Hey there friends, so I am the PCGoblin. And in this video we're going to be tearing down this Mac Mini, and I'm going to be redoing the thermal paste, upgrading from 4 gigs of RAM to 8 gigs of RAM, and installing this 512 gig SSD to replace the slow 160 gig 5400 RPM hard drive that's inside of it. This is the RAM that we're going to be using, not much to look at. And for this, I'm going to be using Arctic Silver 5 thermal paste, 1 scraper, spatula, putty knife, whatever you want to call this, and the iFixit Pro toolkit. And I'll have links to all of this stuff down in the description below in case you want to buy it or check it out for yourself. So we can see what kind of improvement all this does to the machine. I ran a quick run of Geekbench on the machine, and this is the score. So we got a single core score of 1553, multi-core score of 2591. Alright, so we've got a single core score of 1553, crypto score of 93, integer score of 1897, floating point score of 1279, and memory score of 1554. And then the multi-core score of 2591, crypto score of 187, integer score of 3548, floating point score of 2400, memory score 1326. Alright, now that we've got our baseline, I'm going to start digging into this and replacing things and cleaning things up. Or what you're doing with the putty knife is you're just sticking it down the front so you can break or bend these things back so you can pull the top of the case off of it. And then as you're pulling up, you're going to push on the sides and just work the base of it out. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but your putty knife will fit in the top of it just underneath the drive real easily. So once you've got that done, it just comes apart like so. Okay, so on this heatsink, it had, I don't know what was on it. It seemed like plastic almost, with what I had to scrape off and soak off and rub and all that fun stuff. So I've also run into another issue where the pin for that holds the heatsink down broke. So I'm going to be using 2 zip ties to go along with this. So I'm going to put the spring on with the end just like that, push it through the hole, and then cut the end off and only use the end to put it down onto the end of the heatsink, and then just snip that off, and that will hold it on good enough to cool the CPU and everything else. Okay, so I've got it complete. This is what the top side looks like. This is what the bottom side looks like. Now, I may have broken the Mac Mini because there was, just right by this, you can't really see it, but just kind of right there where that dot is, right above my fingertip. Let's see if I can... Oh, just like right there above my fingertip, a little piece of metal broke off. I think it was just solder. So I put some solder back onto it. So here's hoping that that's really all that was, because it's maybe a dead board. Anyways, putting it back together now. There we go. Okay, it's all done. Time to wire it up, see how I did. Well, it's dead. I killed it. I murdered it. It is no longer living. I have successfully torn these apart, and I have successfully replaced the thermal paste on the heatsink and got it to run after with no problem. It was just a bad night, I guess, so I just, I knocked off that solder or broke off the capacitor or whatever it was, and well, it doesn't boot anymore. As soon as you plug in the power cord, it just kicks the fan on to full speed and never does anything more than that. I've torn it apart several times, put it back together, trying to do all sorts of crazy things, and no dice. So, total fail on this one. Boo. Regardless of me breaking something off the motherboard, this is how you tear apart the Mac Mini, so I hope it's at least a little bit helpful. At least, I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to see more of my stuff, go ahead and subscribe down below. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching.